Live from WOWT, First Alert 6 starts with breaking news.
Well, that breaking news this morning, a front porch fire leaves one person in the hospital. This happened near 43rd and Spalding Street shortly after 5 o'clock this morning. Now, according to authorities, 4 adults were in the house when the fire started. The good news is their injuries appear to be non-life-threatening. An investigation into how this fire started is now underway. And we have more breaking news this morning. A person is in the hospital after being shot. It happened this morning as well near 20th and St. Mary's Avenue shortly after 2:30 a.m. Details are few at this hour, but according to dispatch, the person was taken to the hospital with potentially life-threatening injuries. Of course, we'll keep you updated on those breaking stories. Thank you so much for joining us on First Alert 6 Streaming. I'm Cerise Cole, of course, joined by Senior Chief Meteorologist Rusty Lord. And there is a 6 First Alert weather day for Saturday, and we're talking snow.
Yeah, first time we talk about snow potential in our area. I don't think it's going to be a huge impact, but you got the first one.
You do.
And you got
the timing.
The
holiday
weekend with a little travel, people trying to get where they're going. Saturday morning, that's basically what you need to know. That is where you need to pay attention to the forecast for any travel plans. That's the one that's going to have the biggest impact. Saturday morning snow potential still there. Very narrow path of snow. The north edge of this is going to have a very sharp cutoff between, well, some problems and absolutely nothing. So there will be spots watching this right now to get no snow out of Saturday. I want to prepare you for that. It's not a slam dunk for everybody because it's a very narrow band and most of us will get less than 2 inches out of this. There could be a little heavier spot try to develop, and models consistently, at least this one, and I think it makes the most sense, show that band trying to set up to the southwest of Omaha. So Lincoln on south, probably the worst of it right now. Our Falls City viewers, Tecumseh, south of Lincoln, and anybody traveling to Kansas City will need to watch this Saturday morning because this will be slicing through our area very quickly. Notice the north edge, it's going to drop off quickly, and that narrow band is going to be narrow, maybe a county or two wide. So a first alert to that for Saturday. Until then, turning colder. Today, you're going to notice it. Clouds around this morning. They're going to be tough to get rid of into the afternoon. Thanksgiving itself looking chilly, maybe a few flurries there, but by far the best chance of snow is going to be Saturday. And again, not all of us are going to get it. And even if it's not snowing, it's going to be cold. There is a system out there right now. I just checked. No delays to Denver, but it is snowing at the airport in Denver right now. They do a really good job with snow removal, but if there's going to be any problems flight-wise, it's going to be to or through Denver. So watch for that if maybe you're getting ready to head to the airport or hanging out at the airport right now. It looks like there's snow in our area at the moment. A lot of this is elevated with dry air undercutting it on the north side, and it looks a little more ominous than it actually is. I can't find where any of this is reaching the ground on any NDOT cameras or anything right now. So at most, it's just some flurries. This can happen. Drier air or cold air is dry air, and it tends to chew up the north edge of a lot of storm systems. So you got upper 20s, lower 30s out there at the moment. It's cold, not as cold as yesterday. There's that little system down to the southwest, and you can see models trying to show a little bit of it, but even as we warm up, that's going to mostly be rain across Kansas. We take you towards noon, we're 36 to 37. And then as we go towards 3 o'clock, I think 37 to 38, probably the best we can do for a high today. There's some clearing. Too little, too late. If we start to clear out in the afternoon, tough way to warm with a north wind and, well, the low sun angle this time of year. You got to get that warming done in that mostly 9 to noon window this time of year to get any sort of good warming out there. By 10 o'clock tonight, we're down in the 20s, and then overnight tonight, right into tomorrow morning, if you're up early getting things rolling, getting the meal rolling, you got 38 things to put in the oven, 23 degrees to start off the day. And you can see how it goes here for the course of the next few days. It's cold. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. upper 20s to right around 30 degrees. For a little perspective, we should be about 44, I think.
Yeah, so you mentioned 28, 27, 30. When are we going to start warming up? Will we start to warm up again?
That's where the 10-day forecast is good to have, because usually you can find stuff like that. And luckily we have the answer on the 10-day forecast. End of next week, I think we can get back up near 40 by Wednesday, 45 Thursday. This will be a lot closer to average here towards the tail end of the week next week, that first full week of December. And that cold air, even you go for the first 10 days of December, that 8 to 14 day temperature outlook, it's pushing it to the east, warmer air trying to build into the west. And I think this can sneak in a little bit more just looking at the weather pattern. I like the way things are looking here as we go through the course of the early part of December anyway, to at least kick some of this colder air out of the area. So it looks like what we'll likely see is a potential for some pretty good, this couch is in the way.
It's just the two of us today.
This is the first time I've done this without Jared here. I don't know where to go.
You're just fine.
Yeah.
You're just fine. So the good news is for folks traveling today, kids are out of school, a lot of people off work, so travel is actually looking pretty good.
Traffic volume's been pretty low. That's part of the reason why Jared's not here. Traffic's not a big problem. Schools are out of session. This is good. We're going to keep an eye on the roads here. Everybody's trying to get to the airport. Let's go ahead and take the maps here. We can show you how things are looking as we go over the course of the next few days, because what we'll likely see here is traffic volume be pretty low as we make our way through. So there's 90th and Dodge. There's Midtown.
Oh, yeah.
There's 144th and Dodge. Not a lot out there. This is Highway 370 and 144th. Pretty quiet. And no real reason to think that's going to change. We'll look at the ramp. There's some closures out there. If you're trying to come in from south on 72nd, northbound 72nd to eastbound Dodge, that ramp is still closed this morning. Got confirmation on that. So you cannot access eastbound I-80 from 72nd very easily. Otherwise, bigger picture, you get a lot of green on the map. Not too much to worry about out there right now. Not even seeing the normal spots where the volume picks up and you start to see some yellows and oranges. There's just not a lot of flow. Every school's out of session. We take you towards Epley. There's the green on the map. Epley Airfield looking pretty quiet. Again, the big mess is just getting through the parking garage and all the construction. If you got to go drop somebody off or try to find parking, hopefully there's plenty of room there. So you get to Epley and you can see whether you're coming in from Elkhorn, you're coming in from Bellevue, or anywhere around town. It's easy going to get to the airport and hopefully just as easy to get where you're going with your flight. Again, pay attention to Denver. I haven't seen any problems, but it is snowing there right now.
And so that could be the trouble spot. All right. Speaking of travel, thank you. We're going to take a live look at Epley Airfield right now, where many holiday travelers will be taking to the skies today. A reminder, if you are one of the many people who are heading out, make sure to check for any cancellations or delays. As of right now, all arrivals and departures are running on time. We will, of course, be sure to keep you updated on how things are going at Epley throughout the morning. Air travel for the holiday is ramping up at airports all around the country. More than 185,000 people are expected to fly out of Epley Airfield just this week alone. That is a 3% increase from this time last year. Now, the Omaha Airport Authority anticipates Sunday will be the busiest day. Officials recommend arriving no later than 2 hours before your flight. If you are picking someone up, you're asked to park in one of the cell phone lots until your traveler shows up. Well, a win for medical marijuana advocates here in Nebraska. The challenge to the medical marijuana petitions has been thrown out in court. Voters overwhelmingly passed initiatives that legalizes and regulates medical marijuana. Certification of the election results happens next week. However, an appeal to the Nebraska Supreme Court is expected. New details on a sexual exploitation investigation. An Omaha man has bonded out of a Texas jail. Brandon Sieg, you see there, was arrested earlier this month in Pottawatomie County. Court documents accuse him of paying a 13-year-old to send him several sexually explicit photos and videos. He is also accused of trying to make arrangements to travel to Texas to watch that little boy play football games and buy a hotel room. Well, for many people, one of the highlights of Thanksgiving is a meal with turkey. stuffing, and mashed potatoes. For those with eating disorders, however, those traditions can be triggering. Health experts say more than 29 million Americans struggle with disorders every day. Dr. Kirti Gupta with CHI Health says it's not always what's on the table, it's sometimes who's around it.
Holidays can be kind of a mixed blessing, but it's also a time for other members of the family and friends to help become more aware or cognizant that this does exist and to do something about it.
Well, if you or someone you know is experiencing an eating disorder and want help, we do have resources at firstalert6.com. I'm here with Maria Cade at the Safety Alert 6 desk, and we're talking about Thanksgiving travel a couple of minutes ago, all day, really long. And it sounds like you have some last-minute ideas for all of us to consider.
I know some of these are some things that I didn't think of, but I think are really important too. If you're planning on traveling, you might think it's a little bit too late or too close to the holiday to change your plans, but some experts are saying that actually booking maybe a last-minute plane ticket, you might think it would cost a fortune, but those experts are saying that those flights on the holiday itself, they might be a little bit more affordable than you think. Cerise, we were talking with one of our producers behind the scenes, and he said that the flight for today that he was planning to take, $1,300.
That's crazy.
So he ended up taking a flight tomorrow morning. That was a lot less expensive. So there you go. With the storms in the forecast too across the country, experts are suggesting that people who are flying, you're going to want to take the carry-on only. They say that checked bags can be hard to deal with during delays and cancellations. AAA says some drivers, you're going to want to pack for the weather too. Of course, we have that First Alert 6 weather day on Saturday that our team's watching, and you can prepare for that by bringing along an emergency kit.
Have some extra blankets in case you get stuck on the side of the road, extra snacks, all of those things that would keep you comfortable in the vehicle if you get stuck.
Now, AAA says drivers who can't leave early today to go to your destination, you could head out on the roads tomorrow morning. Of course, they say that traffic, as we're seeing today, might be even lighter tomorrow morning as the day's getting started. People watching the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, staying in.
I'm so glad you had mentioned the emergency kits because my son was coming home from school yesterday, from college. Flat tire.
Oh no!
Guess who didn't have it? I had I hadn't thought about it. So he will be getting his emergency kit.
There you go.
All right, we have to talk about Thanksgiving. It was staying with the travel, but everybody wants to bring a plate home, right, of all the mom's good food. So how does that work on air? On the flight home?
Well, this is kind of interesting to me. I never thought of bringing leftovers on a plane. No, I haven't. As somebody who lives far away, not something that I thought of. But if you are flying this Thanksgiving, you're going to want to make sure that you store that cranberry sauce, any other goods, in your checked bag. Now, the TSA is outlining which holiday favorites are banned from carry-ons, and they say anything that can be spilled, spread, sprayed, poured, or pumped, try saying that 5 times fast, it must be in your checked bag, and it can't be any more than 3.4 ounces. So that means you're going to want to keep the gravy, apple cider, any fruits or vegetables that are in cans tucked away. And the items that you can take through security, though, you can take baked goods, meats, stuffing, casseroles, mac and cheese, the turkey. You can bring that in your checked bag. But if you are and you have some food that needs to be kept cold, the ice packs are actually allowed, which I didn't realize either.
Well, look at this.
Yeah, but you got to make sure they're completely frozen so that there's no leaking or anything at the security checkpoint.
I have to remember the list. Spilled, sprayed. Okay, I have to go back on that.
It's a lot, right?
Maria, thank you. All right, First Alert 6 streaming will be back after this short break. Stay with us. Well, the good news is, I love good news. I like to start with the good news first. We're not talking about wind chills this morning.
Yeah,
right?
that's great.
Yes.
Wind chill, air temperature, nearly the same number in most spots, so that's great news.
Still on the cool side, though.
The number still starts with a 2. But,
Yeah.
that's where we're at right now. 29 degrees. Take the winter coat, take the warm hat. If you're getting people up, getting them ready, obviously the kids sleeping in. No school today. But you yourself, you need to go to work. You still want the warm gear. There's nothing that's warmed up. And it's a north wind. If you feel it, 5 to 15 miles per hour right now. Not that big of an issue. But it will try to pick up later today. Notice the gusts by the end of the day get up 25 to maybe 30 miles per hour. So it is possible that we could have a little bit more of a north wind. Can impact maybe some of your Christmas decorations and just add a little extra bite to the air because the north wind will usher in some cold air. We got this little system here traveling to our north. This one here bringing snow to Denver right now. Again, if you're flying through Denver, keep an eye on that anytime today. This will be diving to our south primarily. We're on the north edge of it. So as of right now, we're not getting any of the snow actually reaching the ground. I keep checking cameras down here. If there's anything, it's just flurries. So what can happen is it can fall and evaporate into the dry air that's in the lower levels and it look a little more ominous on the radar than it actually is. So temperatures upper 20s, lower 30s at the moment. Today's forecast, tack on 8 to 10 degrees. That's it. Clouds are going to get in the way. Late clearing is too late. 37 to 38. And that's the best we can do. Thanksgiving forecast, 35. For the high. So 20s in the morning, 30s in the afternoon. It's pretty much what you need to know. It's going to be cold, partly cloudy, small chance of a flurry. Those could be to the north. No travel impacts. Game day forecast by Friday, 6:30 is the kickoff. Again, this used to be an 11 o'clock game, so it would warm up during the game. Not the case. It's going to start in the 20s, stay in the 20s, partly cloudy skies, light breeze. 6:30 kickoff. You can watch it here on First Alert 6 if you want to as well. And then you can see the cold air. Look at that. Friday, 28. 27 Saturday, 30 on Sunday. Cold blast. We should be in the low to mid 40s this time of year. And this is going to be a noticeable cold stretch here. With, as you can see, just a little bit of snow in that forecast.
Let's talk about that day in red because all eyes are on that. People are traveling. People are, it's an important day.
Bar none, any travel, any driving, the only day to really watch in our area, Saturday.
Okay.
Saturday morning especially because that's when this very narrow little storm system is going to dive in. We call these little clippers, and the path of the snow, the heaviest snow, could be no more than a county or two wide. Look at how this drops southeast through our area. It's going to right now graze our southern half, so that's where the best odds lie. The farther south you go, the heavier the snow down towards the Kansas border, and this could be a problem Saturday morning heading towards Kansas City from Omaha and vice versa. So keep that in mind. Saturday morning, we'll keep you posted on all our platforms on this First Alert Weather Day to let you know how it plays out. Then some warmth.
Yeah.
Back up to 45 by Thursday. This is where we should be this time of year, so that's some good news. And you look a little longer range, and you can see the warmer air building to the west. We got to slide some of that east as we go through the course of the next 2 weeks. But overall, the pattern does lend to most of the cold air being east, most of the warm air being west. And,
okay.
I mean, we're on the kind of the dividing line there, but I think we can get some warmer days. Maybe make a run at 50.
Isn't it funny how 40 is like all of a sudden we're excited about 45?
Perspective, people.
We're like, oh, yes, 40s.
Big difference.
It does. All right. Rusty, thank you.
You bet.
Well, last week, you may remember, we told you about a grease stain left on the corner of 24th and Lake. It was apparently left behind by a street vendor that set up an outdoor kitchen. Well, a Douglas County official saw our story, and now that stain is gone. Lavanya Goodwin is the president of the North 24th Street Business Improvement District. She's happy the corner is clean again and ready for holiday traffic.
Business Improvement District, maintaining the cleanliness, litter beautification is one of our top priorities. So clearly, getting this resolved quickly right before some of our holiday events is just perfect. So we thank those that got out here and made it happen.
Now, the folks at T Squared Maintenance says Hot Sea Equipment Company provided the cleaning solution for the project. A follow-up now to a story we first brought you last week on a potential cell phone ban in Iowa classrooms. Governor Kim Reynolds is now commenting on this very issue. She says she's received some really good reports from school districts who've already banned phones in the classroom. Now, Reynolds adds whatever she introduces, she wants to make sure it's respectful to the work some districts have already done.
I want to supplement that and enhance that. I don't want to really step on anything that they've done. So it'll probably be more of a floor is what we're looking at, but just to encourage people to really move in that direction, or in time.
Reynolds says she will propose the new legislation in her state address on the first day of the legislative session in January. Well, still ahead, First Alert 6 streaming. A few turkeys in Iowa have been pardoned, and they have names you may know when we come back. Welcome back, everybody. Governor Reynolds pardoned 2 turkeys. We love the names. Caitlin and Clark, named after the former Iowa basketball superstar. The birds are from an Iowa family farm that's celebrating 100 years in the industry, and there is a good chance that if you feast on turkeys this week, it came from Iowa. According to the Iowa Turkey Federation, the state ranks 7th in the U.S. in turkey production, which I did not know.
I didn't either.
No clue. So
know.
between the president pardoning 2, and it seems like every state does it, there's like 100+ turkeys just living it right now.
It's a nice tradition.
Yeah, I know.
Every year.
And I love Caitlin Clark. That was very clever.
Good names,
Yeah,
good names.
Very good.
Very well apropos, for sure.
All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. If we don't see you tomorrow, have a wonderful Thanksgiving. We have to get ready for our update in the Today Show. You can watch while we get ready. You can watch that cut in here on our stream or over the air. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day, everybody. Safe travels.
Live from WOWT, First Alert 6 starts now.
Good Wednesday morning, everybody. It is 7:26. I'm Cerise Cole. We want to get right to First Alert 6 traffic and weather with Rusty.
Yeah, thankfully traffic, not a big issue. We got all the school districts out of session for the day before Thanksgiving. And even the normal spots with the heavy congestion, the loop around 680 in Dodge, not much happening. 144th in Dodge, the eastbound traffic flowing pretty well. 90th in Dodge by the Christmas tree, pretty good. I don't foresee big problems. Still got the eastbound ramp closure from northbound 72nd, so you can't access I-80 there. That is continuing, likely through the holiday weekend. Otherwise, that's a lot of green on the map, and let's try to keep it that way. Let's flip over to the weather now. First Alert 6 weather, and the radar looks a little ominous down to our south, doesn't it? That snow showing up. A lot of that's not reaching the ground. Take you a little closer. I've been checking some DOT cams. There's nothing falling aside from flurries, if anything. So a lot of that evaporating before it reaches the ground. Upper 20s and lower 30s out there right now. A north wind, 5 to 15 miles per hour. We'll try to pick up later on today. The gusts could sneak above 20 miles per hour after 4 o'clock today, so the air could have a little bit of a bite this evening. If you're running some errands, maybe making that trip to the store to get the last few things you need to make the meal tomorrow. 37 to 38 for the high today. That's it. Clouds, they're going to be tough to get rid of most of the day today. Cerise?
Rusty, thank you. We're staying on top of breaking news this morning. A front porch fire leaves one person in the hospital. This happened near 43rd and Spalding Street shortly after 5 o'clock just this morning. According to authorities, 4 adults were in the house at the time of the fire. The good news is their injuries are non-life-threatening. An investigation into how that fire started is now underway. It is 7:28, and we are back with another update for you in 25 minutes. We'll see you then.